Hello, I am Jane Sibbett, and welcome to Conversations with Shavasti and Jane Sibbett. We are here on Streaming for the Soul, and we are so happy and delighted that you have decided to join us for these conversations. I just met Shavasti 10 days ago via a friend on Facebook who had raved about his work. And I am still discovering what he's about, what he does, where he's from. And if you're just coming into these conversations, it has been such a treat for me. And we'll tell you just a little bit about him. And he's right here, right here. I'd like to welcome him. He's in Bangkok right now. Yes, Shavasti?
Yes, that's right. I'm in the City of Angels. It's the other City of Angels.
Oh,
Um, Bangkok is the short form of the name. Please don't ask me to say the long form of the name because I cannot say
please,
what the long form of the name.
please.
But literally, the long form of the name Bangkok means the City of Angels. So here we are, and I'm in the City of Angels, and you are in Los Angeles, the City of
Yes.
Angels as well.
And
And
my parents
so,
wanted to name me Angel, so it's even more wild.
right.
That was my original name was Angel, so we've got a lot of angel things going on here. That's
Okay.
fantastic.
So City of
Uh,
Angels to City of Angels. Good morning, good evening for you. It's
yes.
quite
And good
quite
day to
late there,
some
like
people.
9 o'clock at night or something like that, and it's here. It's just
Yeah.
before lunchtime, and so bedtime is calling for you, and lunch is starting to call for me as well. Um, so thank you very much for asking me to come back. And yes, we've only known each other 10 or 12 days by now, and here we are having these conversations about my work and about what it is that I offer individuals.
Yes. Well, it's interesting. Perhaps people want to know how the universe works. I'm infinitely fascinated by what the universe has been bringing to me most recently in the last couple of years, and I've had such an awesome journey getting to know people that are doing wonderfully helpful things on the planet, as you have. You've done hundreds and hundreds of workshops with people around the world. You've met with people individually as well as had
Mm.
deeper conversations and workshops. And now these conversations, if you could tell people why do you want to even have these conversations, Shavasti? What is the impulse from within you to create these conversations?
The absolute truth and honesty with that is for my own self. I'm here for me. I am here for me. I was not given a mission by God to go and save the planet. That's perfectly ridiculous. To think that I
If
would
it's
ever
my
be.
mission, though, is it ridiculous or that's your ridiculous?
Um, I think that whatever our. In Hindu tradition, there's a word called dharma. So we have our
Yeah.
karma and we've got our dharma. And so what I say to people is fate is a given. Fate is what we were given. So we were born to a certain mother and father. We were born as a particular gender. We were born as an ethnicity into a certain country. That's our fate. That's the whole package that we get handed as we come into the world. That's the fate. And that can be an easy one, it can be a difficult one, it can be a mixture of light and dark, and normally is a mixture of light and dark. And
Yeah.
destiny is what we do with the fate. So if it's my destiny to become a teacher, then that is part of my own karmic path that is turning into my dharmic path. And so it's about me. The byproduct of that is how I'm serving and helping other people. But I did not come here to help other people. I came here to help myself. It's part of my own path. Because there is a whole journey to stepping out into the world and speaking of the things of God. And what does that mean? In generations gone by, people got stoned or burnt at the stake, called a heretic, cast out. I've had my own experiences in this lifetime of somewhat being cast out for being um, psychic, for being a sensitive child, for speaking truth. I remember the day when I was told that I was no longer suitable to be an altar boy at the Catholic Church. I was busy, and I kind of walked across the altar, right in front of the altar, ran, and the priest spoke to me from the other side of the room and said, "Don't run, it upsets the angels." And I just turned round without thinking about it, but as a child, speaking the truth. And I said, "But there aren't any angels here." I said, "The angels do not appear until you hold up the Eucharist and open up the light of heaven. That's when they come in. So no one's upset with me now." Well, that truth was not appreciated, and I was told, I don't remember exactly when, this was when I was really quite young, and
Ah,
so my memory as to whether it was that day or the day afterwards or a week afterwards, I'm not too sure, but very soon, and I knew that it was linked to that event, I was told that this was not the path for me. And so stepping out as a teacher, stepping out as someone who says, I'm here to speak of the things of God, I have something to say about healing, and doing so with authority, is part of my own inner journey. So what is it to stand there and speak the truth? If I think of some of the people that I admire, and Oprah Winfrey is one of them, she has had her journey with her weight that she's done very publicly. That's about her. The fact that other people have benefited from that hugely, from watching her take that journey, but that's part of her dharmic path.
right.
Mhm. And so, although one of the byproducts, if you like, of the work I do is to help hundreds or thousands of people, the primary person that it's helping is me. For when I'm in this space, when I'm teaching, I get to access the greater part of me, the better part of me, the depths of my heart, the depths of my compassion. So each time I lead an individual or a group to a deeper truth of themselves, I go into that much deeper truth of myself. And so it's not so that the healer simply heals others. The healer invites others to take a journey, and we take the journey together. This is not this old-fashioned model of where the doctor is the boss or the chief and the director, and the patient is the one who is subordinate, submissive, and submits to the authority of the doctor. Healing takes place when two hearts connect. And so I want to connect with you. Not only with you, Jane, but with everybody who comes to me. It's about connecting. It's about getting to know people. And it's about getting to know people in their wholeness. And I do that through the best of my ability to look at you through the eyes of my heart. That's what informs me. That is what informs me. What is the deeper truth here? Um, was I given a mission, or did I choose?
It's so wonderful to hear you talking about this. Someone else that I had met recently had said very much the same, and you could see eyes popping. You know, you coming from I came from a very Christian background where it was humbling, humbling, humbling. You would never. It's everything's in service. You give yourself over to it, but it's never about you. It's about for the greater good, and always subjugating yourself. So it's really lovely that you're the second person who has said in the last couple of weeks to say, no, 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 it's about doing that which makes you happy. Because by you living that, it's freeing everybody to do the same, to walk into their gifts. Yes?
If I reach and I'm able to access my own magnificence, the truth of my own being through this work, as I stand in my own magnificence, it is an invitation for you to step into your own magnificence. You see, when we stand in our own magnificence, we bow to the magnificence of others. That's the big difference. Some people,
Yes.
when they believe that they're standing in their great success, but don't bow to the success of others, then they're not standing in their magnificence. Magnificence bows to the magnificence of someone else because your magnificence is unique and different.
Yes.
Each of us, God is like a kaleidoscope. You know those kaleidoscopes, you turn them, you get a slightly different.
Yes. Yes,
Each one
yes,
of
yes.
us, you and me, we're just a slight turn of that kaleidoscope. We're like snowflakes. So we're all still snow, we're all still water. That's what snow is, originally water. So we come from that deep ocean of God. But your snowflake is different to mine. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. So your magnificence, when we view the magnificence of others, it is
Glorious.
or inspiring, it's glorious. And when we
Yeah.
stand in our own magnificence, then we pranam, submit to the magnificence of someone else.
Yeah.
And so to think that I've come here with a mission to save anyone, or to do anything in particular, rather than to extend an invitation, come join me in this place. That's really what it is. It is an invitation, and it remains an invitation. And it is an invitation to overcome the need to know so that we can surrender to the direct experience of the truth of who we are. That's not imagined, that's not created, that doesn't become yet another mask, but in the authentic presence of who you are and who I am. And this is the fertile ground upon which compassion is born. And we need that. We need that in order to stop this eternal cycle of victims and perpetrators, of who to be against. Who do we need to fight against next? Who do we need to win against next? Who do we need to be better than? The cycle of victims and perpetrators has been continuing for generations, and that's why part of the work that I do, looking at ancestry and working with our ancestral stories, is vitally important. Vitally important. Vitally
Shivas,
important.
can I ask you a question about this? And because I definitely want to go into the ancestors and the ancestral stories, but I've had this conversation even with Carl about how, as a child, I I remember standing in our solarium and thinking I was a princess. I was a princess, and I had the sense that I was shining. And I also, like you, I was up in the trees. I was talking to the beings in the clouds and the whole deal. I was very connected to all of that. But I felt my shining essence. Whereas my sister always felt like she had to scrimp and save and clip. She had to make her own clothes. She was so worried about the family and taking care of. So we had a different sense. We came into this world in the same family, a completely different sense of who we are. And so, how does that work in a family when we have two very separate images? And the way that I look at the world, I look at it all as very shiny, but her perspective is still very different. How does that work?
Well, there are several different answers I can actually give to that question,
Okay.
and I'm not going to pry into your sister's energy field to see.
Sure.
But the first thing that must be said, there are two different pregnancies.
Yes, true.
So when we're in utero, we are exposed to all of the feelings that our mother is feeling, that our father is feeling. And so everything that's going on with the mother is translated into neuropeptides. It affects the whole chemistry that's going on. And so we as the fetus are having an emotional response to all of the emotions being felt by the parents. So it really depends on what's going on. So if there is a trauma or a particular stress that's happening for the couple at the time, then the child is feeling that.
Makes sense.
We feel that. The moment of conception is different for you than it was for her. It is some it is too simple, and some people say, well, it's because it's got to do with past lives and past life overlays. Whilst there is an influence that certainly absolutely within my experience does come through from past lives, but most of what we're dealing with can be resolved by looking at what actually happened in the family.
Fascinating.
What actually happened in the family. So your gestation period was very different to her gestation period.
Absolutely. It was definitely one of abundance and celebration, and everything was great in the family for sure. So as a parent, now that I flip to my own, children, our own children, and say, okay, and I look at the way that we were, if we come to a workshop and we're working with you and this question is posed to us where we can actually consider, oh, when I was carrying, Violet or Kai or Ruby, I was feeling this way. Is there a way now as a parent that I can help my children with whatever I was carrying and unwittingly passed along to them?
As you resolve it yourself as a parent, you give the
Uh-huh.
child permission to do that. Often
Ah,
it happens automatically for the child without you even discussing it.
awesome.
Because you're connected to your children through things called chakra cords. So out of
Yes.
your chakras are emanating cords. This
Mhm.
is why we have expressions like no strings attached, because we realize that there are strings attached.
Yes, we do.
We have cords that run from our chakras that
Awesome.
connect us to everybody that we're in a relationship with.
Yes,
So
yes,
that includes our biological family, that includes our friends, our lovers, current lovers and ex-lovers. And
mm,
so we have these cords that go out to everybody that we've been in a relationship to. This is especially important and very evident with adopted children who have these cords going to their biological family as well as to their adoptive family.
right,
And
right.
so these influences are there. You see, here's the thing with parenting, and I'm kind of digressing a little bit from the topic here, but it's all within the family work that I love to do with people. The amount of times that the parents say things to me such as, "Oh well, my daughter doesn't know anything about that. We never discuss that in front of her." That is such, I use an American expression, that is such baloney. That is such utter and total baloney.
Right.
Children feel everything. They are psychic sponges.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when somebody says things like, particularly divorced couples, "Oh, but I never say anything bad about my ex-wife in front of my children." And I say, "No, sweetheart, you only have to feel it. If you are in complete disrespect of their mother, or even hate their mother, they know it. And they feel it, irrespective of what you're saying." And so I guide through people through this process of looking at the truth. And the truth is, at one time, you were in love with this person. In fact, you were so in love with them, it was sufficient for you to commit to marriage and to create a child. Where did that love go? It didn't go anywhere. It did not disappear. Love once felt never goes away. And because of the story we've told about love, so in one of our previous conversations, I was talking about how we have images around love, that if we love somebody, it must mean that there should be some kind of friendship there, and it stops us from loving the person at the checkout or our taxi driver or the doorman at the hotel or the swimming pool guy who comes around. That we are, because we have images around love, that we limit it. But love is limitless, and love once felt never goes away. It doesn't go away. It simply does not go away. It gets hidden under layers. And so with divorced couples, I guide them to find that place before the hurt took place. Because what's important for the healing of the children, if then the father can love the mother as the other parent, not as his lover, not as his wife, but as the other parent. And if the mother can love the father as the other parent, not as her lover, not as her husband, Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, absolutely.
Then that creates a place of safety for the children. That doesn't mean to say that you have to get back together. That doesn't mean to say that you will then become lovers again or partners again. But there is an acknowledgement there that our love created this or these beings.
Right.
And let us remember that and work with that. I remember, I've told this story a few times, I might have written about it in one of my books. A couple came to me and their main issue was that the man's children from a previous marriage were being very disrespectful to the new wife. And so I asked a couple of questions. And I said, well, I've got a really healthy and quick and easy solution for this. So they both said, oh, yes. I said, once a week, pick up your kids from school and go with their mother to a local restaurant and have dinner. The new wife looked horrified.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I said, why are you looking horrified? I said, this is the cause of the problem, which is why I suggested it, because I knew that that would come out.
Oh.
Don't compete with the mother. Don't compete with the mother. Yeah. Don't compete with the mother. Don't do that. The children need both parents.
Yes.
And I said to her, when it comes to the time for one of the children to get married, I said, the two people who sit up front in the church are mum and dad together. And their new partners can sit a couple of pews back. That's what your daughter wants. That's what your son not only wants, but needs that. We try and make ourselves far too important. And when every love that has been experienced can be respected, then harmony is created. So in terms of healing, in terms of our healing journey, relationship within family and to family is important, but I take it the step further, the relationship to our ancestors is very important. What is the ancestral story? What is the ancestral story that we're being loyal to? And the loyalty aspect is very strong. Very, very strong. Let's say your mother was jilted at the altar, or her great love, her fiancé, suddenly broke off the arrangement or died, got killed in a car accident. So your mother never got to have her great love. She ended up marrying your father, and that's been an okay marriage. But what if she never got her great love? How would it be for you to say to her, dear mother, please bless me if I have the courage to have a great love in my life? It takes a very courageous child to allow more and to have more than their own mother or father. And so as a mother, Jane, it's important for you to see that in terms of your relationship with your children, but also in terms of relationship with your parents and also with the father of your children, to really look at what do we allow ourselves, because often we hold ourselves back because of our perceived suffering of others. We say, because they suffered, I will not step forward. How many times have you had a good friend whose career is floundering and then we feel guilty because we get a big break? This is what human beings do. What we tend to do is that we step in the darkness to be with our friend or family member, to go in there to try and help pull them out, but we end up getting stuck in the process. And what I'm saying is, if we step out into the light and step out into our magnificence, and there we stand in our strength and in our beingness, then that becomes the invitation for those who are still stuck in the dark around something to come out and join us. But what most of us do, we go in and join them and hope to pull them out. And that's why it's important, with deep respect, to be able, let's say your father's an alcoholic, to be able to say to him, Father.
Yes. Nicely done. Again. Again, yes. I'm sorry. Go
I,
ahead.
I just I just I just pull in
You're pulling them
stories off the
all.
top of
You're
my
pulling
head.
all the stories. You're rocking the Shavasti. All my friends are going, uh-huh, uh-huh,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Go
Some
ahead.
people say I'm psychic, although I'm not
A
doing
little
a
bit.
deliberate read on you. I'm
A
not
little
doing
bit.
a
I would
deliberate
say
read on
a
you.
lot of it right now, but keep going.
Okay.
It's all good.
I'm blushing a little bit here. I'm going, have I done that again? Yes, I
Yeah,
have
it's
done
all
it again.
good. It's all good. Of course
It's
you
the
have.
nature of the beast. So let's say
Yeah.
your father's an alcoholic.
Hmm.
There's a few things here. And there's a point here of personal redemption for you, the child of an alcoholic. To forgive yourself that your love was not enough to save him. To forgive yourself that your love was not enough to save him. Every child of an alcoholic wants to save the alcoholic, and you couldn't. It's too much. To really meet that, your freedom, your innocence, your redemption, your personal redemption comes from forgiving yourself that your love was not enough to save him. Yeah. That's vitally important. And to be able to say, beloved Father, I give up. I leave you with the alcohol. It's too much for me. I give up. So this is the journey that I take people on. And for some people that sounds selfish. And what I'm saying is, what is selfish is not stepping into your magnificence. Because most of the world is not stepping into its magnificence. And look at the world we've created. As human beings, we are capable of such compassion. We are so creative. We are capable of such beauty. And yet the nightmares we live and create on a daily basis on this planet is virtually unimaginable. I have seen and heard unimaginable, abhorrent things in my life. And yet I know, and every part of my being says, that when we give ourselves the freedom, the real freedom, to step into the magnificence of our heart, these nightmares stop. I, like most other people, I was waiting for other people to change. I was waiting for someone else to acknowledge me, to acknowledge my goodness. I had to discover it for myself and give myself the freedom to step out of the darkness and to realize, despite the fact that I might have been the psychically sensitive child that saw angels and spoke to dead people, that that sort of specialness was not enough. It was not enough to save people from the darkness. All I have is enough for me. And certainly as a child, it is not your responsibility to rescue your parent. It's too much. You're the little one. You are the little one. And even if you're 53, same age as me, even at 53,
Me
you're
too.
still, sorry, 52, 52.
In my
Oh
heart,
my
I'm
God,
about
I just
110.
I just added a whole year to an actress's life. What a sin.
No, I think that we're in 60. We were both born in 62, right? So I'm just at the end of the
No,
year,
61.
right?
I was born in
Oh,
60, 61.
okay.
61.
So we're just a little off.
Um,
It's all
so,
fine. Yes. Yes,
and
it is.
it really is about having this courage. It's about
Mhm.
having this courage to know that even at 52, that you're still the little one. You're
Yes.
still the little one at 52. The little girl still lives inside you.
Yeah.
And so when that little girl gives up on the idea that she has to save her daddy, that's when she's free. When she knows that she's not to blame for not being able to rescue him or to save him from his own darkness, then she regains her innocence and she's free. This is the core of my work. This is the core of my work. So much spiritual work out there is about chasing the light. And I would like to say I'm about looking at what is real. What is real? You see, I put this in my book. If we love God and do not love people, then we have completely and utterly and totally missed the point. So if we chase the light and don't look at our family issues, then we've completely and utterly missed the point. However, if we love people but don't love God, then we never see them for who they truly are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For God resides in the heart. That is the abode of God. And so when we move to the heart, we move to the truth of who I am, and I can see the broader, greater, deeper truth of who you are. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow. So amazing, Shavasti. This is spectacular work, and I am so touched and moved by just what I moved through right then with my own father and my own family. I look forward to inviting more of these conversations and inviting more people to these conversations. I would love if we could next time to go even more into the family dynamic. And I had a couple questions from people who had just started to read your book with me, had ordered it, and also wanted to know about forgiveness and how do we forgive the unforgivable? How do we forgive those who have harmed us in ways that are unspeakable? Or how do we forgive ourselves for continuing to hurt somebody unwittingly or intentionally? So if we can talk about that next time, I would
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know we're getting together quite soon again.
Yes.
So we will bring all these topics in, and so I thank you for your openness and for your sharing, and for really just embracing my work, and so fully and so completely in such a short period of time. It's an honor to have been brought into this space with you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor to meet you and to accept the many gifts of this universe, including your amazing wisdom. So bless you, and we will talk next time. Thank you for being here from Bangkok. Thank you for all of our guests who are here to join us this time, wherever they are in the world. If you want more information about Shavasti and his work, you can go to shavasti.com. The information's right here below this VOD, and you can find out about his books. You can sign up for upcoming tours through Shavasti's website.
Yes.
Hopefully get on the email list, because we are hoping to have Shavasti touring the western region of the United States, maybe further, who knows, depending on the call and the need. If people call or write to us and say, I'd like to have Shavasti here, then maybe we can come to visit. So anyway, this is the beginning of a really wonderful relationship, and I, again, so grateful, and thank you, Carl, and for streaming for the soul, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.